What are your motivations for the coming series?
Just another Test series up against New Zealand, who are, number 2 in the world. A good side. They kind of sneak under the radar, I think, every now and again, but they've got some quality players and they play well as a team. So we can't take them lightly by any stretch of the imagination, and we've got to come and bring our best to compete against New Zealand, that's for sure.
How closely have you been watching them?
I watched little bits of the series against England. They played pretty well on some pretty docile wickets. But yeah, look, quality players and going to be a good series, I think.
How do you compare them to when they were last year for a Test series? How much better are they now?
I think a lot of the players are still there that were here last time, so they're a few more years experienced. They've got some really good players. Kane Williamson, their captain, is a terrific batsman and one that we're going to have to be really focused on. Ross Taylor scored some big runs here last time and played a lot of cricket. And their bowling attack have been together for a while and have formed quite a sort of good partnership together. So they're a good side and we're going to have to play very well.
Do you expect Ferguson to play?
I don't know. It's a tough one, I think, with the pink ball, I guess, which way they want to go. He's obviously got the pace, so it's a sort of a point of difference for them, perhaps. But we'll be ready for whoever they play.
Steve, what are you expecting here at Perth? I think it's your first Test here at Perth Stadium, and it's a day-night one as well. What are you expecting from the Perth pitch and the conditions?
I don't know. I watched the Test match last year, which seemed to have some good pace and bounce. I guess it's just different with the pink ball, how that responds. Sometimes when the wicket's really hard, it can soften that ball up, and it can be 10, 15 overs at the start when the ball's new. That could be hard work, but then good for batting for 50 or 60 overs. So I think it'll be about us just summing it up and seeing how it plays and adapting really quickly to whatever we need to do.
The conditions starting Thursday 39, then 40, 41, 38. What is that going to do to the pitch, and will it be able to hold together throughout those early days?
Good question. I'm sure the first few days it'll hold together pretty well, but we've seen here in the past games at the Wacker, for instance, the cracks come into play late in the game, and if it's as hot as it says it's going to be, they could potentially come into play, which I think's good. When the cracks come into play, it's a bit of it's something that plays on your mind. You look down and you see these things, and generally the balls that get you out don't touch the cracks. They're sort of just playing in your mind. So a lot of the guys have played when the wickets have been cracked and been able to play reasonably well. So hopefully we can, if it does happen, we can adjust to it.
What did you watch the Test here last summer, and what have you sort of gleaned from the guys who did play that game? Because it was pretty tough for the batsmen. Like the pitch played a few tricks. Is there a real sense of the unknown about what you'll get here?
Yeah, there is a sense of unknown, particularly with the pink ball as well. You just never know. We're starting at 1 o'clock, so it doesn't get as dark when we finish compared to Adelaide. So that night session's not as long. So there's a few things I guess you have to sum up, and it'll just be about doing that as we go. We saw a pink ball game a couple of weeks ago here between Pakistan and Australia A, and there were some big runs scored in that game from the Pakistan guys. So it's just going to be about summing it up on the go and I guess adapting as quickly as we can to whatever we need to do.
Steve, when it comes to Perth, that's first priority, but obviously they're talking about Melbourne and the pitch that's in question over there. As a player, how do you read the situation from afar, I guess, and what it means for Boxing Day and moving forward?
Yeah, look, I think it's a really tough one. The wicket for some time down there has been pretty flat, and they're trying to get a bit more life into it to make it, an even contest between bat and ball. And this time, obviously, there was a bit of, moisture in the wicket. From what I've heard, it was quite wet. And then when it hardened up, the divot sort of took over, and then it became dangerous, obviously. So it's a really fine line, I think, with that wicket. And I'm sure, Pagey's a very good curator. he'll be working as hard as he can to try and get a wicket that is suitable for bat and ball. And it's tough. These guys have a really tough job, and they drop in wickets sometimes. They've tried a lot down in Melbourne, but not being able to manage to sort of get something that is a bit more bowler friendly. So they're going to work hard, I assume, over the next couple of weeks to get us a good wicket for Boxing Day.
The concerns that it might not be as good as what you'd hope, and it could be like we've seen over the weekend for WA and Victoria come Boxing Day?
Look, I'm sure that won't be the case. Perhaps he'll go a little bit flatter. I'm not really sure. I don't really know how groundsmen sort of work and get their wickets in play, but I think Page is a good curator, and he'll be doing what he can to get us a good wicket for Boxing Day.
And that being said, Boxing Day for you, as a player, it's pretty special on the calendar. Bit of noise about the future of holding it if the deck doesn't stack up. And Perth, of course, puts hand up, as I put over there. But what are your thoughts on Boxing Day, MCG, and the tradition going forward?
I'd love for it to stay. It's part of, I guess, tradition of Australian cricket for a long time, and I think I've had some of my sort of great memories in cricket, walking out there on the first morning of Boxing Day and listening to the anthems, and you get kind of a shiver down your spine. And yeah, the Boxing Day Test in Melbourne is something that I look forward to every year. It's a great occasion, and I'd love for Melbourne to keep it.
If they were to produce a pitch which didn't come up though, is it something that, if it's unacceptable, is it something that needs to be looked at, given that what happened in 2017 with the poor rating as well?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and they'll have another year to I guess, try and find the right, consistency with the wicket. I'm not sure what it is. It's whether it's leaving more grass and hard underneath. I'm not really sure. Groundsmen and curators is not my sort of expertise, but I'm sure they'll produce something that's good for us on Boxing Day, and then I guess have another year to keep working on their wickets and hopefully get some even contest between bat and ball. That's what you want to see.
Steve, with the MCG and SCG in particular, the two high-profile grounds, there's been several issues of different kinds over the last couple of years, and then generally speaking, a lot of flat wickets around the country. Would you like to see Cricket Australia perhaps take more of a hands-on role with the preparation of pitches and how all that works? I mean, traditionally they just leave it to the curators, but do you think that things could be helped with a more hands-on approach?
I know the SCG, particularly early in the season, it's very tough for them to get a wicket up. We saw with the rugby league and the AFL being played on the ground, we had a Shield game moved, and then the Shield game we played there was a very low and slow wicket that didn't offer a great deal. So, it can be very difficult for the groundsman to produce anything with any kind of life just because of the volume of traffic, I guess, that gets on the ground. So the guys try their hardest and prepare what they can with what they're given, and the more they do it, I'm sure the better they'll get. And I guess what we want to see is just consistency with a challenge between bat and ball. I think that's the most important thing from my point of view.
You spent a lot of time in the sheds during the Pakistan series. How hard was that coming out so late in the year, and how motivated are you now to score something runs?
Yeah, it wasn't easy actually. It's sort of been a while since I was sitting there and just watching the boys do their thing, and it was great to see some guys score some big runs, and me just sit back and watch and chill out. Or try to chill out. It's actually hard waiting to bat, and you're really focused on what's going on out in the middle and thinking about getting ready. So that was difficult from that point of view. But look, New Zealand are a good side, and I've had a bit of success against them in the past in Test cricket. So I'm looking forward to this series, and hopefully the boys up top can keep scoring some big runs, and if not, hopefully I'll be able to get some.
When you have a series where you go 4 and 36 and you don't get the chance to go and have a second innings, do you get a bit itchy and scratchy or on edge to get out there and really make the next series count, I guess?
I wouldn't say make the next series count. I mean, it wasn't I wasn't too disappointed with the way I played. And, I wasn't under much pressure, and I was able to just sort of relax and yeah, when I came in, the game was kind of, we were well in control, and there was no real pressure, so I'm not really too phased about my performances as such. I'm hitting the ball really well and comfortable where my game's at, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this series, and if I'm needed, hopefully I'll be able to score some runs.
Just on that, you lost the #1 ranking to Virat Kohli, so is there any extra motivation there to get that back?
For me, it's not about where I sit in the rankings or anything. I just want to play well and score runs when I need to for the team, and help the team have success. And guys have been playing some good cricket this summer so far, and hopefully we can carry that on.
Just on this day-night test match, you're notoriously a bad sleeper. How does a day-night test impact your sleep?
Yeah, look, it's a little bit different. You have to get used to the different timings, and for me it's trying to stay up a little bit later. I normally sleep around 10 o'clock at home, and that's kind of, particularly in Adelaide, that's when the game was sort of finishing and I'm winding down. But you've got to try and stay up a little bit later and try and wake up a little bit later, if that makes sense. But look, had a couple of good nights at home, sleeping on my koala mattress, which was really nice. Had a few good nights' sleep, and back here now in Perth, and ready to go for a big series.
With Trent Bolt, how much more dangerous are they when he's in their attack, and how do you rate him as a bowler?
Yeah, he's a very good bowler. Good skills, left-arm bowler that can swing the ball back. I think anyone that does that at pretty good pace, it's something you don't see a lot of. So he's got terrific skills, great record, and I know he's got a bit of a side strain or something. So he's probably, maybe a little bit underdone, but no doubt if he plays, he'll, we have to be very watchful. He's a very good bowler.
I think he's knocked you over maybe 4 times in 5 tests or something like that. Is it just tricky bowl with the pace, I guess?
Has he? I don't know. I think I've scored some runs off him as well. I think in the series I've played against New Zealand, I've generally scored quite a few runs. So, look, he's a good bowler. And someone that we have to watch out for sure.
The
couple more
this
guys.
summer have really embraced you and David. Were you ever concerned what happened in England would carry over here? Or did you feel the home crowds are always going to get behind you?
I have no idea, I guess. For me, it was a nice sort of reception here in Australia when we came out to play. I don't really like to think about things like that. For me, what people say and what people do at the cricket, it's kind of irrelevant to me. I just go out and play and do the best I can, and sort of ignore anything that's going on in the crowd, really. Just don't pay attention to it.
Steve, your relationship with Graham Hick in the Nets, how has that evolved over time? There seems to be this a lot of trust between you two. Just how has it evolved over time?
Say that again. At the
With
end.
Graham Hick,
Yeah.
just your relationship with him. Seems to be a lot of trust between you two. You face a lot of throwdowns from him. So
Yeah.
how has that evolved over time? How does it work?
No, it's good. Hickey's obviously he's very experienced as a batter. He was a quality player. He scored loads of hundreds in first-class cricket and for England as well. So he throws non-stop. He's got a terrific work ethic, and he picks up little things with me every now and again that he tells me, and we have a good relationship. So he's doing a terrific job.
Steve, just on the heat, do you do anything differently when you know you've got a series of hot days ahead of you in cricket in terms of preparation for the play and recovery afterwards?
Not really. Kind of used to it now. It's just about going about business as usual, maybe drinking a little bit more water, but I don't really like to change too much, so just go out and do the business.
Just do a couple more
Steve,
goals.
just, Sam mentioned Virat Kohli. What do you see in Kane Williamson as a batsman?
He plays the ball incredibly late. He's patient. I think we actually hold the bat reasonably similarly. He's got quite a closed grip, which is something I like that in Test cricket personally. I think it just helps playing the ball a little bit later. And he's probably, I think he plays it later than anyone else in the world. Yeah, terrific work ethic, good eye, and plenty of time. I think he's got loads of time against quick bowling, so quality player, and hopefully we can keep him quiet this series.
Is everything okay with Josh Hazlewood after the dressing room game?
I think so. I haven't seen him this morning. He usually sleeps. He's a big sleeper. He sleeps in, so haven't seen him this morning, but I'm sure he'll be fine.